This time round, despite the fact that they may be going to reduce fees, they have got already commenced. Once the inventory marketplace peaks, it is historically while you see the information factors, the things like they prefer to speak approximately. What is unemployment appear like? It is manufacturing unit output. All those metrics that the Fed likes to examine will unexpectedly move dark. Not earlier than the market breaks, but after it breaks. That's whilst it takes place. At that point, the critical bank, not just ours but others, will go into panic mode in unison. They paintings together, and so that it will create monetary enlargement globally, now not just here, and desperation and moves by way of significant banks to buoy their assets that they deem worth buoying, like the stock market. The beneficiary of that's going to be mainly the economic metals, and that's the place to be, specifically this coming year. And we have been ready at MSA for the breakage of the stock market as a key thing, and inflicting the monetary metals to go into the more berserk mode on the upside. Because as soon as that blood starts off evolved to pop out of that marketplace, it is going somewhere else. Over the last 100+ years, the damage has already been performed. The purchasing electricity of the U.S. greenback has fallen so sharply during the last century because of growing inflation and money supply from the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, that the Federal Reserve Act created a significant financial institution with the ability to manage the authorities' money deliver. All of the manner back here on the some distance left-hand aspect of this chart, earlier than 1920. I believe it was in 1913. And you guys noticed what passed off with Roosevelt criminalizing the ownership of gold, then them taking the greenback off the gold standard all of the manner in 1971 to desert it and start easing more money, which means printing, than ever before in 2008, whilst George Bush tried to save the financial system when the real estate marketplace in reality plummeted, and considering the fact that then the U.S. cash delivery grew through $3.8 trillion in 2020 by myself, identical to 2.2% of all the bucks ever created. Now, maximum of this, however, what I'm going to talk approximately in this video are a number of the things that absolutely nobody is being attentive to, just like the 10-12 months to 2-12-month Treasury yield curve inversion. And what's occurring? We are additionally talking approximately the powerful federal budget price. We're going to speak about the unemployment fee and what has befell each single time the unemployment price has spiked. We're additionally going to carry up the Dow Jones Industrial Average in comparison to the Beyond Gold to the USA dollar and what is occurring proper now and what kind of time you've got left to make money throughout this bull run. And also what we're going to discuss is what's happening inside the crypto marketplace and what impact this can have on cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Dogecoin. We have Sui, we have Chainlink, Shibinu, XLM, HBAR, the whole altcoin marketplace. We have to bring up the Bitcoin to America greenback rate chart. We also have to speak approximately some extremely bullish news. This is going on proper now for Ripple and XRP that you do now not want to omit. So this video is going to be genuinely jam-filled with feelings. If you guys are feeling blessed, in case you guys are feeling bullish for 2025, remark 777. And is constantly, if you're going to emerge as the primary millionaire for your own family tree, confirm it right now by way of tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. You all proper bull runners, welcome lower back to the channel. As a sustained lower back pain arises as a result of ketosis or corrections prompted by surgery, suspension, or Crohn's disease, you guys are feeling blessed right now by way of tapping the channel. So this chart proper here displaying the spending energy of $1's worth during the last 100 years. I find it irresistible. And I hate it on the identical time. I hate it because in case you're conserving money in a bank account, which I do, because you got to pay bills, I would really like to have each single penny invest within the markets. However, I got to pay for meals, I got to pay credit score, card payments, all that stuff. The international hasn't transitioned over to virtual currencies and crypto, simply. But we nevertheless got to use fiat currencies. So, I hate it due to that. and the spending strength of my dollar simply maintains taking place every single second of the day, and regardless of the Federal Reserve does with their effective federal funds price that we're going to talk in this video, because they've been lowering costs for the reason that meetings lower back in September, we were given November, and now we're in January of 2025, they diminished it again in December, and that triggered a huge crash and a panic in the marketplace. So the reason why we take note of what the Federal Reserve does is because that affects the markets, right? Whenever the Federal Reserve makes a flow with their FOMC meetings, then that causes either a panic or that causes an exhilaration within the crypto marketplace and the stock market as nicely too. So I want to speak about what the Fed has deliberated over the following few months, and I'm going to bring up some simply essential charts for you men to pay attention to. Now, the cause why I love this as nicely too is because this tells me wherein I ought to be setting my money. Because if the spending electricity of the dollar maintains taking place because of America money deliver growing, just by way of $8 trillion alone over the past 4 years, equal to 20% of all of the dollars ever created. Well, if there may be no max supply on something, which means that the price of it is simply going to maintain taking place, it's easy economics. You don't ought to be a rocket scientist or an economist to parent these things out. So what I do, which again isn't always economic advice, I'm simply going to share with you guys how I became a millionaire earlier than 30. And what you choose to do together with your money is absolutely as much as you. Once I began to comprehend this at an advanced age, that the Fed and the Treasury are on a runaway freight train through what they're doing with the monetary print orders and the cash deliver, nicely then I just moved my money into stuff that had max deliver. And I moved my money into the belongings of the destiny, and cryptocurrencies is one of these asset instructions, right? What if the asset instructions, right? That's what we're going to talk loads approximately crypto over the following couple of minutes, but the main aspect that I want to communicate about is the 10-year to 2-year Treasury yield curve inversion, right here. So if I move on, Max, you guys can visit fredstreetslewisfed.org, their legit website, and you guys will see this tracks all of the way lower back to the 70s. So we have sufficient information right here to certainly provide us an information of what takes place while this yield curve is inverted, which means that the 2 12-month treasuries are paying a better yield than the 10-year treasuries due to the fact human beings are greater skeptical or weary approximately, the long-term future of the United States of America, and that they suppose there may be going to be a crash extra in the brief time period whilst this yield curve is inverted, and it's in the terrible. So you see this black horizontal line right within the middle. While we are beneath it, we are in a yield curve inversion. When we are in above it, well then the 10-year will pay out greater than the 2-year. For instance, if I open a brand new tab right here, and I visit Buying and Selling View, I'll show you men this, and you can do that with me right here. You move into the search container. You click on All, and also you type in 10Y with US in front of it. So just kind of in US 10Y, and then I'll come up, because the United States 10-year authorities bond yield. And so when we click on View, and we just move on one chart right here, you guys can see if I pass beforehand and clean my past drawings that I had for you, that it's at 486%. Now if I had been to open up any other chart, proper here, and I type in under the Quest container right here, used to UII, it's the United States 2-year government bond yield, and you may see it below TVC proper right here. I'll just click on this, it'll pull up. Do away with 11 drawings right here, and it is at 483%. Now, whilst we go back to this chart right here, and we move ahead and zoom in, while the yield curve become at its lowest, all the manner down here on July 3rd of 2023, it become at